This is the moment you've all been waiting for. The show that discusses everything you want to hear and says everything you want to say. Tackling the tough topics and taking the piss out of everything serious. From all over the world, this is Something for the Weekend. With your hosts, Andre, Joey, Stephen, Big T, and the lady keeping them in line, Roxanne.
What is going on,
buddy?
Well,
a little bit of a different episode today.
It is. So,
Andre had a family emergency.
yes, Andre had a death in the family, and so our condolences to Andre and Roxanne and Andre's family.
Yeah.
Not sure about T. Haven't heard back from him, so I'm assuming he's got some kind of something going on because he's typically on the road.
Not having T on is kind of like having a death in our family.
It is. So,
spiritual.
Since it is just the two of us, we tried to get some backups to fill in. They all had other plans because they had lives, and they don't love all of you as much as we do.
Right. Nor are they as committed to podcasting.
That's true.
To the pod life.
So what we thought we would do is, because we had a topic lined up to go over, and we may, the topic may come up, but we had a question we were going to discuss, but we didn't want to burn a question without neither T nor Andre and Roxanne, without them. We didn't want to burn that.
Yeah.
So what we thought was, since Stephen and I do our own show called the B3F Podcast, that we would do a takeover today, because that's basically what we do anyway, is we take over shows. We're responsible for, thank you, for the death of friendships,
relationships in general.
The death of friendships, the death of relationships, the death of people. And we
have a storied history.
We do. Indirectly, we're responsible for some of those things. So we're going to do a slightly tamer version of our show today, which will bore you to tears, because we're all over the place in our topics.
I'm already
in our conversations. Yeah, I know. In our conversations, we're all over the place. But this is it's honestly like you're sitting in on a conversation between Stephen and I, who've been friends for 26 years. Stephen and I, for some background, we met when we were teenagers playing music in a band together, and we are the only two people who have been consistently able to tolerate each other for that many years.
Yeah.
So that includes two wives for Stephen. This third one, she's hanging in there, but and then all of my family friends. So
because the last episode that we actually did, that was a B3F episode, is I was going through some massive medication withdrawals, and I was crazy as hell, and we ended that episode, like, I think it was less than
abruptly. It was right around an hour. It was just abruptly. You were just, like you said, in an ill mood.
Yeah.
And I was in a hotel room because I was traveling for work. So my service, my internet wasn't great.
Yep.
But
I think it was like, I'm done.
Yeah, no, it's like, you want to just take a break real quick, and you're like, no, why don't we just end? And so we ended the show there, and we've been so busy that we haven't been able to do another one, because we were trying to do one a month.
Yeah.
But this, for our regular listeners to our show, you're getting this episode as well today. But
congratulations, everybody.
Yeah. So if you want to chime in on this in the comments and ask any questions, make any statements about anything we're talking about, or questions about us, then feel free. We'll answer them as we go. And this will basically B, the two of
I'm
us.
having the realization that talking to you, just the two of us together, I am already having a hard time editing my language already.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because
it's a different setting.
the B3F podcast is completely uncensored, unedited, anything goes show, right? I mean, if we think it, if we believe it, we say it.
Hell,
Right?
if we don't believe it, we say
Well,
it.
sometimes just to get a reaction out of people, for sure. We've had guests and stuff before that we would just say crazy things to, but anything goes, right? I mean, a lot of people, for whatever crazy reason, we had lots of like just a core group of like diehard people that loved listening and watching the show, and they liked how crazy it could get. So there's going to be today probably a little more language than you're used to hearing. Hopefully Bobby doesn't shut us off off of Soul TV.
We can just not cuss.
Partially, yeah, we can try. So anyway,
full non-edited version.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. With that being said, I'm actually going to play our intro video. I'm gonna play I'm
gonna start just using all the time while we're talking today, so I can get away with saying whatever I want.
So I'm gonna play our intro video just like a normal show would be for us, and then
trigger warning.
Trigger. Oh God, yeah, trigger warning.
There's language in our intro. How are we gonna?
Yeah, there is. I forgot about that.
You probably shouldn't play the intro.
Yeah, you're probably right. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
It drops a C bomb.
I think it drops more than a C bomb. I think it drops an F bomb.
It does.
Okay,
so it basically states that B3F's explicit, and don't watch it.
It does. It's not. This is not for kids. If you're listening to this or watching this around your kids,
enjoy the show. You.
Yeah.
I think I found a loophole.
I think you did too. The problem is I don't have one of those buttons.
The old poop hole loophole.
I didn't know you were a Mormon.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. So I know there's been
Andre is never going to let us do a show again without him.
Never. I don't know that we'll be invited to the show. So
I'd like to go on record that I came prepared for a traditional something for the weekend.
I know you did, and I did too. And then while you took your emergency dump right before the show, I just had this thought of let's just be true, because it was going to be awkward, just the two of us trying to discuss the same topic. So I just thought, let's just do this instead. We don't burn a topic with Andre and T not here and Roxanne. So,
yeah, I will say the emergency before I could come on the show was really ill-timed.
You gonna do what on the show?
I'd just taken a shower prior.
Oh, I see.
I hate.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
it just ruins the whole shower.
So I know you've had some stuff going on lately. You've had big changes, and you and I haven't really discussed that. Yeah. Well, it's like I'm crossing my fingers. It's divorce number 3.
No, not yet.
No,
not yet.
Damn it!
Don't be shocked if
I know
as of right now. No.
Yeah, no, I will not be shocked. Me and a handful of people have a Deadpool basically going on. It's getting dangerously close to me losing this Deadpool.
Oh man, what'd you bet?
I'm just kidding. I don't have that going. I should have.
I was super excited that there was actually some type of Deadpool I was unaware of about the longevity of my marriage.
No, I would have lost that a long time ago. I wouldn't have given you any more than like 6 years, probably.
Yeah. Well, but the credit in this one really goes to Amanda more than it does to me.
It does, absolutely. It goes to. I always, when the topic comes up, give her the credit, and I give her and medication the credit. That's really what I give the credit to.
Being medicated helps.
And I think the medication, the credit all goes to her, because without her, I don't think you'd be medicated. So
yeah, well, I would be, but not with.
Well, sure, not with pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
Well, it would be pharmaceuticals, but not doctor pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So, okay, big stuff going on in your life. Last we talked, really legitimately talked, because I don't as close as we are, we really don't talk a ton.
Stopped doing a podcast and we don't talk about anything anymore.
Right. Yeah. So you were traveling a lot because of work. So like almost, almost 100% travel.
Yeah, stupid.
But so you've had some stuff change. What's going on?
Nothing. No, I changed jobs again. No longer with that, but I got an offer. So a company that I worked with several years ago, pre-COVID, that I left because of COVID, had a guy retiring because I've always done like field engineering.
Yeah.
Stuff. And this dude was like, hey, guy's retiring, that's taking this spot. It's one division of the company that we're trying. I either have the option of shutting this because it's a small company, so this part of the company down. It's technically a separate company, but this part down, or we can try to build it and keep it going. And if you wanted to come on board and run it and try to grow it, then I'd have to have you. And made me initial offer, and I was like, no, I can't. No, I'm not going to do that. And then he said, well, how much would it take to get you? I threw a number out and he accepted said number. So doing that. So I'm still, weirdly enough, ironically enough, one of the other field guys just quit. And so I'm stepping in and filling in for him for a while. So I'm back to doing that stuff. But anyway, it'll be fine. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I'm moving to Lenore.
Yeah, because you moved from Knoxville, where I'm at. You moved to Charlotte about a year ago, give or take.
Yep, a little over.
Yeah, and now you're moving to Lenore, which is a little close.
It is
a little closer to Knoxville, but it's still not really close. But
no, it's where
your kids are.
Yeah.
So is your oldest, or I say your oldest, is your middle, if you like, between step and everything?
We don't count step kids.
What? Well, I do. That's the thing.
They're not real.
Does your middle, your oldest, whatever you want to call them, do they still live with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going well.
Okay, and that's going well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well enough.
I forgot because it's been so long. What are you drinking today? Because that's another thing about our regular show is we drink on our show.
I'm drinking Kennedy Castle 10-year Irish whiskey.
Kennedy Castle. Wow, so it likes to drive prostitutes off of bridges and then act like nothing happened?
Yes.
So I've got some Jameson in my coffee is what I've got. So
a likely story. See, I'm a man, so I separate. So I have my coffee and I have my whiskey.
I got you. Well, I'm
separately.
I like some whiskey in my coffee. So
it is delicious, but whatever.
So anyway, so you're moving, you got a new job. So not traveling much, if any.
Just local, regional, like with the day trips, a lot of those. But yeah,
okay.
It's different. A little bit of a pay cut, a hit on some things, but a lot more pay potential.
Yeah. So delayed gratification.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's the hit at the beginning, but then there's potential. Then there's profit sharing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
if I can
potential to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
An actual legitimate CEO-ish millionaire.
The potential. Or the greater potential is that I crash and fucking burn, and that and that I just end up
broken divorced.
Yeah,
I got you. Okay,
I'm gonna start doing it with the beep, but I'm gonna do it off. Be like, oh man, can you believe that shit?
Yeah. Oh God. So
you got a new position. You got promoted.
Yeah, about getting close to a year ago. I took a promotion.
You've been traveling because I was all the time. Now you are traveling.
My travel is a lot in a certain time period of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like early, like I say early spring and typically early fall, not so much. Now this year's gonna be a little different, but like at this point in the year, I've only taken 3 trips. Now I'm about to take my 5th, and then and this 5th one is actually I'm going to New Jersey, and I'm going to be there for 11 days straight.
I don't mind going up north during a period. I just don't like going south during a period.
Well, so interestingly enough, a month ago I was in Jacksonville for a week, and then a week before this past week I was in Jacksonville for a week.
Right.
Just miserable hot. Now the good thing is I have Miles and my kids are all adults, so my wife went with me this past time to Jacksonville, and I just got a hotel on the beach, and she got a vacation, and I got a work week.
Yeah.
So
I was making a joke in regards
I
to
see.
giving oral sex during a menstrual cycle.
Oh, I see. I got you.
But it just went blew by.
Yeah, it did. It went over my head. I've turned that off partially.
Yeah.
Doing this show.
Yeah. Otherwise, you never get anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you feel about oral on the old Shark during Shark Week?
I never did. I'm not going to say I wouldn't have, but it feels like I probably would have thought that's a little gross. But I don't know. I never was presented with that because luckily my I guess that tells you that's the fact that I said the word luckily kind of, I guess, tells you how I actually feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I've heard some people say that, oh, it's just whatever. It's like, but the thing is, I don't think menstrual cycles are gross. Like,
no, I don't.
But I do think having uterine lining in my teeth is gross.
That is.
That's where I, just like I don't think that being whatever. Just like I don't find being gay is gross, but I do find a dick in my mouth to be gross.
Sure.
So, they're comparable things to me.
I get it. But, I don't know if it's gross or not. I've never had one in my mouth. So
I don't. Well, this is difficult.
Is it? Yeah, it's quite difficult. So, I had something I was gonna say something, but I don't anyway. So I actually kind of did something out of my comfort zone, for lack of a better term. But I hate the term comfort zone. It was so shoved down our throats as religious teens. You gotta, Lord wants you out of your comfort zone, like that. So I hate the word comfort zone. But
right.
I actually asked for a promotion Friday. This past Friday. Actually, not a raise. I mean, it would come with a raise and a pay grade bump, but I actually asked for promotion. Actually, it'll be a people manager position. I actually have asked to have what is currently 7, but would end up being 8 here soon. People report to me.
Look at you.
Because my boss
ladder.
Yeah, my boss was fired in May.
Okay.
And so we've kind of been without that team lead role for a while. So me and one other guy have kind of shared that role for since then, and they're working on getting that replacement.
But now you're just trying to take that whole role.
No, I'm actually not trying to take that whole role, because what I found out is they were actually trying to reband that role and make it a little higher than it used to be, which is going to put more responsibility on it. And so I just said, just make me kind of a middleman there, right up under that role, but above where I'm at. So I can kind of pick up some of that slack for them since they'll have more responsibility. So we'll see.
Check your privilege before you take that job.
Yeah, I know. I should, shouldn't I? I really should, because I asked for that job.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have. I should have asked them to give that to someone else.
You should have.
So
do you
BIPOC.
But with that, do you think that you work with anybody, or even not necessarily directly, even just in your general pocket? I don't know how the corporate structure is where you're at, but do you have any other colleagues that you would say would be more qualified for the job that you think should, that really, if they were like
more qualified than what I'm asking, than the job I'm asking for?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't have anybody on my team. There are other teams that people are more qualified for it, but I don't know them, and should have thought of it first.
Right.
But no one else on my team is more qualified for that particular role. Now, being the actual boss of the whole team, actually, I still don't think anyone's more qualified than I am, but I don't think I'm qualified for it. That's why I'm not applying for it.
Right. So let me ask you a question. So say you had, you and we'll just say a female coworker. We'll just make it nice. Female coworker, and you guys were both, say you not equally qualified, you're a little more qualified, not a lot more.
Just because I'm a man,
a
right?
little more. Right? Yes, because you have a dick.
Yeah, sure.
So a little more qualified, but for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty level playing field. And this other person is a single mom that could really use the raise.
It's funny because I actually have someone on my team that is a single mom.
Right. So
and we're the same age, really.
And so your management comes to you and be like, Joey, you've been here a little longer. You've got some seniority over this person.
Okay.
And we're needing to promote somebody to this position. And it's between you and it's between her.
No.
Who do you think?
When do I start the new role? Like that's if I'm even if I'm not more qualified, if I'm going to advocate for myself,
right?
I'm always going to. Now, if I'm not in the running for it, I'll advocate for someone that if it's equally qualified, I am a person that will naturally advocate for.
Yeah. What if, like I said, what if it's not entirely? What if it's like it's not a massive difference, but you have somebody that's here and somebody that's like here, but this person could use the promotion, the place they're in their life as far as the money and the benefits come with it more than this person. You don't know how well they're going to do, but the one person has just a smidge bit better qualifications.
They're a smidge bit more qualified than I am. That's what you're saying? They're just slightly more qualified than me.
You're advocating for two people that are on your team. It's not for you.
Okay, it's not for me. One of them is more qualified than the other.
But
I'm going to advocate.
Let's just hold on. Let's just say that they're the qualification where they are ahead is more just in tenure with the company.
So okay, so
that is a type of qualification for sure.
Yeah, and see that really doesn't come into play in my company.
Okay.
Really, I mean, at least I've never seen it come into play. Really, matter of fact, I've seen lots of people that have been with the company, shorter times get promoted. But regardless of that, yeah, I mean, for me, I always want the most qualified person in a role, unless I'm the one applying and I'm less qualified. But
absolutely,
but I would be concerned, regardless of social or economic status or whatever. I would be concerned if I advocated for someone that was less qualified strictly because they were in a marginalized group, whatever that group is, that if they're not completely qualified for it, I would hate to set them up and then them lose the job altogether. Like get fired.
Well, you take that much internal responsibility for that?
It's not that I take responsibility for it. I don't want them to put them into that position. Like but I'm also the person that always wants, regardless of anything about you, I want the most qualified person. You know, if to put it like this, if I were a hiring manager, I wouldn't want to see names or faces of anyone to decide who gets an interview and who doesn't. I want to see strictly a resume with no personal information about that person, because I want to strictly look at qualifications. And then when you get in that interview room, then it's on you to win the people over with your personality and or looks or whatever, right? Because I mean, regardless, you know, there's definitely privilege, but one privilege we don't talk about as a society as much as there's good looking privilege. And if you're a good looking person, that trumps ugly person almost every time, if on equal qualifications.
In court, attractive
for sure,
lower sentences or less harsh sentences than attractive people, like the majority of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just know if it was based on qualifications, I wouldn't have had half of the jobs that I've been able to get. It's been entirely on my ability.
Yeah, my whole career, especially since I started taking it seriously in the last 10 years or so, I have imposter syndrome all the time. Like it's just nonstop.
Well, because you're an imposter.
That is true. I'm a fake person. No.
It's not a syndrome if it's a real thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like half of my career has just been like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? And that's been the majority of the positions I've held.
Yeah, as soon as I talk to my sitting boss right now, who my boss eventually will report to, is I had to talk to him about something else, and then I brought the topic up of this promotion, and he asked the question, was like, so is this a whole new head count that we're going to have to add to the team? Or are you saying, is this in addition to what you do currently? And I said, no, it's in addition to what I do currently.
What?
Because I'm already doing 50% of what I'm asking to be my responsibility.
Right.
I say 50, it's probably more than 50%, but I'm just saying, basically just make that my title and my responsibility, and then give me the pay grade and money to account for it. I'm already doing it. So I know I can do them both. But afterwards, because I took half a day off Friday, and afterwards I was just thinking, like, all day Friday afternoon and all day yesterday, I've just been thinking about going, can I really handle that? Can I really? I'm like, well, I'll figure it out, or I won't. I mean, but yeah, anyway. So, another changing topics. So we had storms in here this week in East Tennessee, and
storms here too, bro.
Was it?
You don't have the exclusive.
No, you're right. I don't, but they're more important in Tennessee. Tennessee is significantly prettier than North Carolina, so.
So East Tennessee is basically West North Carolina. It all kind of blends right through there.
I think West North Carolina is basically East Tennessee. I think it's really what it is.
Fair. I don't really care.
Anyway, but we had it's the first time in the 10 years I've lived here that I actually thought, ooh, shit, there may actually be a tornado. Like, it's the foothills, and you don't deal with tornadoes that much in super hilly areas. But
we're in hilly areas.
Yeah, or Healy areas. No, as Jesus makes them go away. So we had some do what?
I just remember when Heelys were cool.
Oh,
anyway,
I saw a pair of Heelys yesterday in a consignment store.
They're making adult Heelys now again.
They are. I saw an ad, not an ad, but whatever you call it, where they were looking for like some commercial actors
I would hurt myself
that need to be able to skate for a Heelys commercial. So
yeah. Where can I apply for that?
There's a website called Backstage.
Oh, I've seen Backstage. Okay.
Yeah. I peruse Backstage for looking for voiceover work that can be done remotely.
Okay.
I haven't applied for anything yet, but I do peruse it looking for remote voiceover work.
Yeah, because every day every time I applied something through castingcouch.com, it's it's just a pain in my ass.
Those are hard. Those interview / casting sessions or whatever or auditions are very hard because the camera's like right there in your face the whole time.
Right.
It's like the point of view commercial or something.
It's like there's a camera here and there's a dick here and you don't know which to look at. It's a mess.
Yeah. Oh God. So we had trees down, tornadoes, right?
Yeah. You said
trees down.
They weren't tornadoes.
Well, there was a tornado in Knoxville.
But those weren't that knocked your trees down, weren't?
No, it was just the straight line winds from the tornado that was a couple miles away or something. But yeah, so we had trees come down on the fence, and had trees come down on a car parked there and totaled the car.
Yeah.
So that was nice. The car was picked up the other day. I probably sometime over the next week, I'll have a nice check for more than what the value of that car was.
Nice.
Go to the bank. Yeah. I looked up the value of the car to see about selling it a month or so ago and was like, well, I guess I'll just keep it in case I ever need it because I'm not selling it for that small of an amount. And I think an insurance company's giving me like quadruple. Yes. Now maybe that's privilege. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I need a loan.
Do what?
I need a loan.
You need a loan? Yeah, I got you. Well, I charge about 50% interest, weekly payments. And interest is whether you pay on time or not. It doesn't matter. Like there's no 90-day same as cash thing here. So
it's funny in the 26 years we've known each other. I don't think neither one of us I've never borrowed anything from you.
Nope. We've helped
friends for 26 years.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? Because I've had people ask me before, how are you friends with somebody for that long? And if you both really are the awful human beings that you say you are, how are you friends with someone that's that awful, and vice versa, right? It's like, We have no expectations of each other. I
No.
know you are a terrible human being, and at any given moment, if you benefit from it, you will let me down. And you know the same thing. And so it's complete expectation. It's complete expectation.
Yeah.
It's the expectation of no expectation is
Yeah.
really what it is. So
Well, half the time, like we were driving, we were talking about the show today or something yesterday, and like I was driving, we were going to look at the house, man, and like your name comes up on
mhm.
the CarPlay, you know, and I'm just like, "Oh, what does he want?" Like, I'm not even, and we had been talking, but at that point I had changed direction to do something else. I'm like,
Yes.
why does he keep texting me? Why do I keep getting alerts from Joey? This is ridiculous.
Right. It's the same thing when it pops up on the screen. I always go, or if my phone buzzes and I just pick up my phone and look and see that it's you, and, or any other person, really, just about. But we could have been in the middle of a conversation. If I pick it up and look, I'll do the sentence like, I don't want to talk to you right now, and just put the phone down or ignore it on the screen. Because my wife has said to me before, do you need to see what Steve in the car? Like, you need to see Steven Sons? Like, no, I can find that out later. It's fine.
Yeah. If I needed something in the rare chance that would happen, I would call you probably.
Yeah, for sure. And if I needed something, I would call somebody else. So
Right. Well, I'm saying if I needed something only that I could only get from you for whatever that might be, then I would probably call. But even then, I probably it's not worth the phone call, and I would just figure something else out.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You said if you needed something, you could only get from me.
Oh, gotcha. It's like, what's going on over there?
So. Oh God, I lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere and I lost my train of thought.
Let's talk about this Halloween party that we might potentially.
Oh yeah. We've been invited to this Halloween party that a buddy of ours. I don't. That's crazy. The screensaver just came on and I was like, "What is going on?" I thought I was tripping balls, man. We've been invited to a Halloween party that a friend of the show, been on the show 3 times, been on our normal show 3 times, our B3F show, not something for the weekend. God, I would never have him on here.
No, God, no.
But a friend of ours lives, up northeast, and so it's a long drive for us to get up there.
Yes. It's especially to go spend time with someone that denies the Holocaust.
Sure. Well, I don't think he denies it so much as he agreed with it. So I think that's really more like he definitely says it happened. Yay. I mean, so no. But we were invited to this Halloween party, and depending on what mood I'm in, a Halloween party is my jam. Honestly,
your jam.
It's my jam. That's what the kids are saying these days. That's my jam.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm the peanut butter, and the party's my jam. And so, the kids are saying that, I think. But
Amazed. I generally hate parties. Period. Like I don't like going to get together. So, but I'm intrigued at because he's like jokes aside, a super talented makeup artist, and he's super into Halloween. And so from that point alone, that's kind of where it's got my interest peaked. Like somebody that's not only super into Halloween and horror, but also makes the props and does all the stuff to go along with it. So it's a tempting thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like a hassle to try to get up there. I know. I'm hoping I need to go look at my travel schedule for work, because if I'm traveling around that time, I'll just extend that trip.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't have to drive the full, 11 or 12 hours it is to get there. So
see, my thinking was if he decides to throw the party, and depending on obviously what you have going for work, but if he decided to throw it on a Saturday, to see what the chances would be to maybe getting up there on Friday and doing a show on the Friday night.
Yeah, possibly.
Doing it.
I mean, for me, I would be if I'm traveling for work up there at that time. I would be flying back here on that Friday, so I would just extend that trip out and be,
drive to Charlotte and ride up with me, baby. If you're not traveling,
you're right. But anyway, yeah. I mean, what is it going to take to get you? And if you're watching or listening to this, chime in the comments. Tell us what we should do.
Yeah, because it's like a 12-hour drive. And that's not 12. No, it's
Well,
8.
for you, it's not because where you're at. But for me, if I went straight from here, it's a 11 to 12-hour drive. But if I drove to you, it's
8-hour drive.
whatever. Yeah. But it's 8-hour drive. But it's a 3-hour drive for me to get to you. So.
Yeah. So I don't know what it would take for me to go because I don't. It's one of those things like it sounds intriguing and like the theory behind it sounds like it would be fun, but in practicality, I know that I probably would have zero fun. So that's just
you never know.
I wouldn't have a good time.
Yeah, you never know. You might.
Halloween was much more fun in my late
20s,
yeah.
late 20s. Yeah, I get it.
Early 30s.
What would you dress up for?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't dress up for a Halloween party? I would go as 3-hole punch Joey.
No, I would go to his party and not dress up specifically because it's his party.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'd be the anti-party.
I mean, hear me out. You could dress up like him with a Nazi uniform on.
I don't like that. Hear me out.
Yes,
hear me out.
You got to hear me out first. You got to hear the whole thing. No one there would get it except him and the two of us and Jay if he was there. But
yeah. I also thought it would be funny. Like I actually thought about that as to full on go because like get a slightly different glasses type from like Zenny for like $10-12 and dye the hair gray and go as and shave a goatee in and go as Jay.
That would be pretty good. That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh God. No, I'm not. I was fixing to say something, and I'm not. On the off chance that somebody that doesn't, that doesn't get it and doesn't have the same sense of humor hears it and is severely offended.
Severely.
It may be the most offensive thing I'd ever said on our show. But I'm not going to say that.
I'm smelling what you're cooking, baby.
Yeah, okay.
I'm smelling what you're cooking.
Anyway, so I've got some in this. I know it's not your jam, what I'm fixing to say, but it is mine. Yeah, well, it's not your peanut butter jam jelly preserve.
Marmalade.
What
is it? Just get
I'm going to I got a couple of comedy shows I'm going to soon that I'm pretty excited about. The first one is in mid-September, and it is Tosh is coming to Knoxville. I'm going to see Tosh. That was my Father's Day present from my wife.
Okay.
Daniel Tosh. Should take my dad. Well, my wife's going with me already. So, well, she says she is. We'll see if she stumbles across some of his comedy. She may change her mind.
Yeah.
But so going to see Tosh. But 3 days after I see Tosh, I'm going to Nashville and I'm seeing Mr. Dave Chappelle.
Oh, nice.
And
you got to be stoked about Chappelle.
I'm very stoked about that. My wife is going that we were on our way to Nashville for something else. I can't remember what it was, and the tickets went on sale and we had the pre-sale code. So we get in, we buy 4 tickets just in case like a friend or family member wants to buy them from us and wasn't able to get any, and they're up high because it's at Bridgestone Arena, which there's not a bad seat there, but they're up high.
Yeah.
So we bought 4 tickets because we couldn't find any lower ones to get. And then as soon as we bought them, she was just watching the kind of the sale going on, and some lower bowl tickets showed up.
Nice.
For more. So we bought 2 lower bowl tickets. So I've got 4 tickets to Dave Chappelle in Nashville for like September 21st that I'm trying to sell. Because no friends or family want them. I didn't offer them to you because I know you don't want them.
No, I don't. I love Dave Chappelle, but there's no way how I'm going to Bridgestone Arena to watch it.
Right.
I did finally watch his last stand-up special that I've avoided doing for how many 2 years now.
The Closer. Yeah. It's great.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I'm going to see Nate Bargatze in December, which I'm excited about, but not as much as Tosh and Chappelle. So.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy, have you checked in or kept up with our old friend
Hunter? I have. He's doing quite well.
Yeah.
He's hosting shows and doing his own thing. I mean,
Yeah,
at
he's
the
always
risk of complimenting him, I'm kind of proud of him for sticking it out and going through
Yeah.
it. He still should have moved and still should move to Austin, but yeah, he's doing well.
I mean, it just shows how much a good work ethic can overcome a lack of talent.
Now, have I watched any of the videos he posts of him doing comedy? No, but I have seen what he's done.
And he's pretty good with the crowd work. I will say, but I don't know, whatever.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I've kind of kept up with him.
Yeah,
we should do another episode with him and see if if his conversational skills have changed any.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Jeff Foxworthy, but
oh God, no, or Larry the Cable Guy, or Dan Whitney. I know him as Dan Whitney, but I mean, whatever.
Okay, look at you.
Yeah. I mean, that's whatever. So yeah, that's all right. So we're caught up on things now.
Yeah. I took Lyric to get her nose pierced yesterday. Her nose and her got her apex on her ear. And dude, I was, for some reason, because I was like, okay, because I believe, like, I have no issues with the piercing, but I do have like an age appropriate thing in my head, like kind of where things.
And she's how old again?
She'll be 15 here in a couple months.
Okay. All right.
And she wanted to get the septum done, but I was like, no, not yet. Like, we're gonna keep it on this first.
What's the difference?
She asked me that, and I told her, like, my feeling or the general viewpoint I have, and it's changed and things have evolved as we've gotten older, but that the septum is more of lack of a better word, it's a more mature piercing than the nose hoop on the side.
Why is that?
I feel like the potential interaction that it gets from older people is more likely with a septum piercing than with just the because the side nose or whatever it's super common. Like everybody, soccer mom, like that's another thing. But the septum, it's gotten more prevalent, but it's still not the same. And so to me, I don't know.
Yeah, it's perceived age. I get it, and I get exactly what you're coming from, and I think I agree with that. There's a difference for sure, but I disagree with saying it's a maturity thing because the nostril piercing is so prevalent with all ages of women now and the septum is more a younger person's game that I look at them opposite.
But I say
septum's more hardcore, that's for sure.
Right. Well, right. And by the association by more mature, I don't mean like grown. I mean like college decision making. Like to me, like a septum piercing, it's the equivalent of a loose equivalent to the forearm tattoo. Right. You're committing more to like the perception that comes with the piercings than you are with just something on the nose or the ears at that point. Yeah. And so it's just the next step up, which to me, like, and by mature, I don't mean she has to wait till she's 20, but like that's like a 16, like she's a little older, handling herself more. But to me, a lot of times it's the same way of certain clothes or whatever. There's just a perceived maturity level that comes with it that seems to invite a certain type of people to, which you can't control everybody, right? But there's certain things that seem to be more inviting of.
Sure, you could hook a leash to the septum piercing and lead them around.
Exactly,
sure,
exactly.
Yeah. Anyone watching this, and I don't know why you'd want to do this, but do you agree? I mean, do you agree with that stance? Do you think maybe 14, almost 15-year-olds shouldn't be getting any kind of piercing outside of their ears? But now her.
But what I was saying, go ahead. Sorry.
Her and because I care, her or are we?
Yeah.
Okay. So does she? So her ears are pierced, right?
Yeah.
Multiple holes.
Had one healed up, but one on each side. She had two on one of the sides, I think, and then had the top, like I guess apex piercing, whatever, on her right side, and it got infected. At one point, she had to take it out, and so we got the left side done while we were over there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
what but what I was saying is I found myself like after talking about the septum piercing and her asking about that and said, well, we'll come across that one down the road, blah, blah, blah. But I found myself being like, let's let her get a lip pierce if she wants it. Cause she's telling me she wants to get steak bites, she wants to get the lip rings. And all of a sudden they're like, why not? And I'm like, no, I can't do that. Not yet. That's if I'm not letting her get a septum, she can't get her lip. That's
for sure. Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do next? Belly button and tongue? Give me a break, man.
I miss my lip one though, man.
I do occasionally miss mine because I had the snake bites, and I do occasionally miss those. They wouldn't fly in the environment that I work in. I mean, granted, I work from home 60% of the time, or I'm on the road, but it wouldn't be great. Tattoo's not as big a deal.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be great for the lip piercings.
Yeah.
But anyway,
did yours heal up really fast when you took yours out?
I don't want to say necessarily that they healed up fast because technically, if I wanted to, if I could get a small enough needle, I could work it through the hole still. It's healed on the inside. It's the outside that I can get it into. First, I'd have to work it through, and I can still feel that knot of the scar tissue there. But
yeah, I have a little bit of that because I remember with mine,
it closed up on the inside quickly.
Yeah, because I remember mine, because I remember I had to go for Clayton a wedding, and his wife didn't want me to have any of the photos, so I'd take it out. It was only out for like 6 hours, and I had to repuncture that shit again. It was rough.
Yep. So God, I keep forgetting I keep losing my train of thought on. I think about something I'm going to say next, and then we continue a conversation. And so to stick with the nose piercing. So my daughter who's 7.5 years older than yours, but 22, and she's both sides of her nose pierced, multiple tattoos. At this point, she has more tattoos than anyone else between me, my wife, and kids. So
yeah.
But I'm getting a new tattoo here fairly soon.
Well, look at you.
I'm actually going to get some repair work done on this one that I'll let a buddy practice tattooing on. Nice. Get in it. Stay in it. I heard that car go by.
Yeah. It's guy's an asshole.
Yeah. Beep. Yeah. So I'm going to get that repair work done, but then I think I'm going to get a watercolorish like Knoxville skyline on my side, I think.
Okay.
And I was mentioning that to my wife. She's like, I really didn't know Knoxville really had that much significance to you. And I'm like, I said, hold on, we have a comment here. Mike Marcello. I don't know who Mike Marcello is. This podcast is the best. I always listen while staring at a clogged toilet, swirling my chest hair, wearing a Princess Leia wig, Crocs, and Hello Kitty thong. Have you guys ever considered spoon feeding each other mayonnaise on camera? You'd probably get more views. You're probably right.
Probably right.
And we have considered it, but we don't like mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's exactly. I don't like mayonnaise.
So thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very detailed. I like it.
It is. So anyway, so my wife said, I didn't realize Knoxville had that kind of significance that you do that. And I was like, well, it does. It's like the kids kind of grew up and came into their own here. She and I kind of grew up and came into our own here, and so much happened, and so much. I don't know. It's more, for lack of a better word, special time of my life than any other.
It's when you became it's when you became a real grown up.
I think it is.
I say that snarkily, but it's
sure.
Yeah.
My name is Mike, Joey. I want to smell you after you jog.
Yeah.
I know your name, Mike. I see it, but I don't know who you are.
I've smelled you after a jog. It is not pleasant.
Yeah.
And by a jog, I don't mean like a workout jog. I mean just be like, jogging from the Waffle House to the damn car. Just be like, Jesus.
I know. God, you smell like syrup and bad decisions.
Something else is covered in chunks. Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of smells and jogging or whatever, and that's another thing. Recently joined the gym. My wife at my wife's, like, she wanted to do it, so I just followed along. The sexual tension between Joey and Steven is real. You should just get it over and just play anal bozo buckets together. That's the thing. It's the bozo buckets. When you bring clowns into it, I'm out. Right. Yeah. I mean, if it would have been just play anal buckets together.
You could twist my arm with the clown thing. I'm not.
No, no. I'm
You
not
got
scared of them. I just don't
you got
like
that
them.
hair to hang on to, right there. It's got the
Oh, I see.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I get it.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who Mike Marcello was. I really wish I did because
You feel
I
like you should
probably would like to hang out with you for 5 minutes. So
after a jog.
after a jog, yeah, for sure. Um, so we joined a gym. That's what I was saying. Because my wife was like, "I want to join. I want to go join a gym." So we joined the gym, and we go. Typically, it's weekdays in the morning before work. So like getting up at 6 or 6:30,
Yeah.
going to the gym. So, and because I work from home 60% of the time now, my hygiene is not great.
Strike two for bozo buckets.
Yes, my hygiene is not like it. If you really want to learn whether you will shower if you're not going anywhere, work from home. You'll learn quickly that you will not. Mike again. I want to dip Steven's index finger into a jar of pickles and then suck on it while an elderly man with decaying gums sucks on my pinky toe.
Now that is a game plan. I am into that.
Yeah.
I'm very my favorite thing though for at every episode that you guys have done of something for the weekend and my relative newness, I bet these are some of the best comments that they're one of a kind.
They are. This is more like doing our regular show, getting these types of comments in there. So
you know, we're doing pretty well with the editing though.
Yeah, I think we are as well. So I noticed this week. Did you notice that? Granted, it's been a couple of months since we've done an episode of our regular show, but it's been 4 years of us doing that show.
Really?
We just passed 4 years. It is because something popped up in my timeline from 4 years ago.
A long 4 years, man.
It's a long 4 years. Maybe I don't want the Knoxville skyline tattooed on me.
I look 10 years older over the last 4 years than I do before that.
You know, it's interesting because I look younger.
Dude, I'm getting gray. In the beard.
I already have gray in the patchiness, but and definitely in my hair. Like my hair sparkles like I'm a Twilight vampire when I'm out in the sun right after a haircut because it's just the sides are just silver hair.
Look at you.
So, if Joey wants to see his gerbils again, bring a ball gag and a quart of buttermilk to the dumpster behind Burger King at midnight. More info to follow.
Nice.
All right.
And then anytime someone mentions you and Burger King, I immediately think of the Shrek hand, which had nothing to do with you directly, but that's
you're right. It does. No, yeah. It's a great story. I'm not going to tell it again, but it's a great story.
We don't have enough time for you to tell that story again.
Yeah, no, you're right. So yeah, join the gym, go to the gym most days. My wife wants to go like 7 days a week, and I'm like, look, I didn't commit to weekend gym trips. I might go sometimes on the weekend, but I will go during the week.
Yeah.
So there's that, and like I said, working from home is
never
not.
Thought I would see you join a gym.
I didn't want to. It just goes to show you, my wife can get almost anything out of me.
Yeah,
she's not been able to get me to quit doing this podcast though.
Yeah, she's got to be so stoked that we're not doing it every week anymore, though.
She is. She was not happy that we were going to start doing it again once a month.
Really?
Because I took a break for, around this time last year, I took a break from it because I was doing this show every other weekend and just work was really busy and things like that. So I just took a break.
Right.
And then you and I talked and we decided to start doing it again on a monthly basis as time permitted.
Yeah. Why did she hate the show so much? Just because of what it brought out of you?
That's what it was.
My influence.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's like it was for her. It was like we were trying to outdo each other in our offensiveness or whatever, and it really wasn't. Like that's the
show was just like it's no different than when we hung out all the time.
You're right, but she didn't hear us when we hung out.
That's true.
Or see, and that's why she just quit listening.
Yeah. Well, plus, it was like that. If we were also getting attention for hanging out, which just amplifies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
Mike, no, I don't know where you can get some sheep. I'm
a goat man myself.
Yeah, I get it. Horns. But she not just that, but because she said it bled over into normal life.
Yeah, okay.
And
in other words, I'm a terrible influence as a friend.
I guess
we're in our 40s and I'm a bad influence on you. It's fantastic.
I guess so. I kind of look at it as we know how to get each other going. So
yeah.
But anyway,
amazing.
That's enough catching up now.
I'm glad you've decided that we're done catching up now.
Well, if you got something else you need to catch up on, I just know you well enough that you don't care.
This is basically your show. I mean, I'm just on it with something for the weekend. Is essentially you've stolen it from Andre, you've colonialized the show, and now here we are. Two white guys doing something for the weekend, and doing whatever we want to do.
Oh, we do just steal culture. My wife was watching this reality show earlier today.
I just noticed that all of a sudden you just stamped her logo up over the top.
I did that like 20 minutes ago.
I know. I just now noticed it though. Like, oh my god, that just proves my point even further.
Yeah, I know. I did that because I thought you might like that. It's small though. It still says something for the weekend up top. But my wife was watching this show earlier, this reality like dating-ish type show, and the long and short of it is they put these couples that got divorced in this house in this island or whatever, and they all are like basically trying to get in relationships with other people, and then a couple of the couples get back together and things like that. So
naturally,
yeah. So there was this woman on there who's white. Well, I thought she was white. Turns out she's just very, very light-skinned, mixed white Latinx woman.
Okay.
But anyway, because I wasn't watching, I was playing a game on my phone, and I said, "Is that woman sounds like the stereotypical big white girl that wants to only date black guys, and so she talks a specific way, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like I can say that, and you know, you visualize exactly what I'm talking.
Can you demonstrate?
Can I demonstrate? If you hadn't put me on the spot, yeah, I could have. Think the Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil, and then imagine her being 350 pounds.
Yeah,
100%. And that's the stereotypical white girl, and so I just got to thinking about that thing, that whole colonializing and stealing the culture and things like that, and I'm like, I was thinking about how like what I would say to black women is like, hey, black women, white women are not your friend. They will straight up steal your shit and act like it's their own. Like not physically steal your belongings, but I mean, like, think about all the time you used to see, because we grew up in the 90s and used to see all the time, like all the black female friends that I had in school or whatever, if they got pissed off about something, they talking with their hands, they're clapping in your face. They're all this. Now it's all white women that you see doing that. They've seemed to have stolen that. Like, but black guys, white guys, we are absolutely your friends, because all we want you to do is call us the N-word and just let us hang around with you. That's all we want. But I just got to thinking about all these things that white women have just taken from black women. Hair extensions and things like that. You know, the earrings, the jewelry, the fingernails now, like that. All this stuff that was stereotypical, like in black culture. I don't want to say stereotypical. It was black culture. These white women have just completely just raped it. I mean, it's just taken it and just I don't understand why there's not more said about that, I guess, really.
That's specifically because really,
because
pop culture, which in the U.S. anyway, for our society, it's consistently steals all of that and appropriates. That's what pop culture does. I mean, as like white people in general do that.
So you're saying that it's the Jewish people that have stolen it then, since they run pop culture in Hollywood and all that stuff. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like.
Pop culture. That's a misnomer. Hollywood movies, like as far as the financial side, maybe, but they don't run pop culture.
Well, I mean, anything in pop culture that I see, I feel like it's
A lot of
something that young white people have bastardized from Black and Latin culture.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, I just got to. That was just on my mind, like how, like
I was gonna say
white
Jewish people running pop culture. You don't see the dreidels aren't cool, man. You'll see the kids.
That's basically what a D&D dice is a dreidel. White kids have just taken the dreidel and stolen it and put 19 sides on it and kill each other with
demons.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, and summon demons. Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
man, I was a little not bummed out because I was looking forward to. Weirdly enough, I look forward to doing the show when we're all on here and do our, do the topics and stuff. And I even had minimal effort, but I put effort in having news stories and stuff. And I found one I was super excited about sharing, but I'm going to share with you.
Okay. Because I've got one that I found that I'll share with you as well.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. But this is a time traveler shares a photo from the year 5000, and it's not good news. This man, this time traveler known only as Edward claims to have evidence that humans are no longer land-based after he says he time traveled while working at a lab in LA. So a man claiming to be a time traveler says he has photographic evidence from the year 5000 is not good news for humanity. The time travel knows only as Edward. He reveals a chilling glimpse to humanity's future. He appears clutching a photo which is claimed to show life in an underwater city believed to be Los Angeles 3,000 years into the future. 3,000 years. LA is still around in 3,000 years, if you can believe that.
Well, I mean, then that means global warming's a lie because global warming is supposed to send LA off into the ocean with the raising waters.
Well, it is. That's why it's underwater.
No, I don't believe
the ice caps melted and it flooded the coastal cities.
Everybody knows everyone in LA can't swim. They've too much plastic surgery going on. They can't do it.
Yeah. So Edward, who has been blurred and his voice changed as he does not want to be identified, claims he was part of a top secret experiment in 2004. He was able to time travel and he managed to get some photographic evidence of what he saw. Edward, who thought to have been filmed at a park in Armenia, says he was working in a laboratory in LA when he was given the task of time traveling and taking photos. He told Yahoo News he was standing on a huge wooden platform. Not only me, houses, buildings, of course, were all made from wood. After I realized it was all the same city, Los Angeles, but underwater. It's terrible. What I did pull up though is I'm going to show you this because for whatever reason in the future he had to come back and it's a printed photograph. Like it looks like it was printed at a Walgreens or a Walmart photo center.
Gotcha. 1 hour photo.
Yep, something like that. But let me let's see. Let me see if I can find this.
So what did he do? Carry a camera into the future with him, take the picture, come back and have it developed?
Yeah, I guess so. So what I'm going to do real quick.
How do you print? Yeah, I was going to say, like, how do you print pictures underwater?
I'm assuming he took them and printed it after he got back. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
Going back with him, but let me see here. I'm going to share.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. But isn't that part of the paradox? Is that you? Okay.
That is the very convincing photo of the underwater city of Los Angeles.
If you look closely, you can see the water, and under that water is the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I'm from the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm from the past, from the future. No, so, I mean, isn't that the paradox though? Is that you travel into the future, you take a photo, you come back. Now that hasn't happened yet, so now that photo, there's nothing there, right? Yeah. Isn't that kind of the thing?
Yeah.
Like, so maybe that's why he just has a photo of water because there's no city there yet.
Yeah. You didn't see the city at the bottom?
No.
What?
That picture was very small.
It was very small. But that's the only picture.
Why? It's fine. I'm just saying, like.
But so the interview, so he claims that the humans were forced to live underwater when the ice caps melted because of global warming. And a man.
Fake news.
Yep. A man claiming to be a time traveler from 2030 made some startling predictions about what the future would bring. The man known only as Noah claimed, I guess this is somebody else. I don't know. My favorite part of this is in an interview with Australian radio hosts Kyle and Jackie O, Noah makes a startling claim that Martin Luther King Jr.'s only granddaughter, Yolanda Renee King, will be president of the United States in 2030. He tells Sydney radio station she's the granddaughter of Martin Luther King Jr. She's only 21 at the time, but they pass a new law that basically makes it so you can be younger as president.
Well,
in the next 6 years.
Should be our second woman president.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, do you believe him?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if you were approached and somebody was like, hey, listen, we're working on time travel.
Mm-hmm.
We think we've figured it out, but we need to test this on someone. Will you do it? Would you do it?
Do I get to put things in my butt?
Well, that's how you travel in time.
Then yes.
So they get you to jump into the wormhole.
That would all depend on who's approaching me.
Well, sure, it's not me. I'm not approaching going, listen, I think I figured out time travel.
Just come over to my basement.
Just bend over and look into this thing for a moment.
Exactly.
No, it's a lab, whatever, JPL or some, whatever. Elon Musk, somebody is like, listen, I think we've figured out time travel, but we need to test it on someone, but we don't have anyone to test it on because we're all pertinent to it working. And so we can't, will you do it? Would you do it?
Yes.
What do you think your wife, you think your wife would like, please don't do that?
Yes.
Do you think so?
Yes. Yes to both of those questions.
And you would say, listen, sorry, I'm doing it anyway.
I'd be like, I'm a man.
Don't you want to know if we make it? Don't you want to know if you're the third divorce? I'm going to travel to the future and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'd have questions, but ultimately, even if they're like, yeah, we can't guarantee you coming back and we don't really know where you'll end up. We just know
we can't guarantee that you're going to end up anywhere. We can't guarantee that you're going to come back. We can't guarantee if we flip this switch, if you don't just explode in front of us. We can't guarantee it.
I feel like there would have to be some, like they would have to have made some progress in the research to be like, okay, we think figured out we've zapped a mouse or whatever, and it's gone.
It came back and told them where it went.
No, I just mean like they were able, like they shot it with I imagine a beam, whatever.
They can't prove that it died. They can't
prove that it died. Like it disappeared. It didn't blow up. There weren't chunks, but it went somewhere, and whatever tracking they used, it obviously went somewhere. Like okay, maybe, probably,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I
would do it for free.
Your payment is time travel and publicity. You're getting paid in publicity, man.
No, I want
you're getting exposure.
Yeah, I'm getting exposure. Yeah, absolutely.
You want money for it, but money. What good does that do if you're killed? If
money for like the family, right?
How much money?
Regardless if I go or come back, I think enough to pay off some bills and take care of the family if I never come back.
Okay. Now, do you
not like life-changing wealth, but enough to like pay off the house, a few things like that.
So if they say $1 million, you're like, for sure. Did you change the logo back?
For sure.
Did you change the logo back?
No.
Somebody did.
I don't think I did.
It's the B3F logo
disappear. Yeah.
That's funny.
I didn't notice. Did it just disappear?
It just changed in the last 15 seconds.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So anyway, so $1 million and you do it.
Yeah.
So resize. So all right, $1 million definitely more than enough to do what you're saying you need for it. So are you taking some of that with you just in case you get there alive? And you're like, all right, well, I'll get there alive and I'll have money.
If it's the future, the money's probably going to be depending on how far it is. I mean,
it may be worth more because you actually have old currency, and it's oh, this is an antique.
Yeah, like you can't spend them Confederate dollars here, son.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I guess maybe I would need something to take with me, like maybe like a gold block or something that I could, exchange
beef jerky
wherever I'm going. Some beef jerky. Yeah.
How
about you? Would you go?
If the money was right and the research, I mean, it's not like I would understand the research anyway, but if it was convincing, right? I mean, the guy living under the bridge couldn't convince me, but right. I mean,
yeah, my convincing would be, like you said, like say Musk or Zuck being like, oh yeah, it totally works. I'll be like, All right, cool. Good
Oh,
enough.
I don't know. I think it's not Zuckerberg. I don't trust that man. I do not trust Mark Zuckerberg.
The dude, it sounds like the fight may happen. By the way,
I mean, it sounds like the fight may happen, but give me a break.
I'm so excited about the possibility if this.
I mean, sure. I'm not going to get excited until there's a date set and they both said they're in.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm just like, yeah, that'd be cool, but whatever. Yeah.
It's a dream to see two people that are that high profile. Like, if my thing is though, if it happens and they set up and they fight, but then they both just half-ass it, then I'm going to be super pissed and disappointed. Like, I want them both going for blood.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you watch any of the Jake Paul fights?
No.
Do you know? I do, depending on who he's fighting. Like, I watched him fight. Oh God, the actual boxer that.
No. And he was just Jake Paul. He was just a YouTube dude that decided he was going to.
He did, and he's done it. He's a legit fighter now. Like, he's a big, just ripped dude, and he's actually good. Like, but I watched him fight Nate Diaz the other night. I watched that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, I illegally streamed it, but I mean, I watched it, and Nate Diaz is. I mean, that man's got a gas tank on him because at first round, I thought Jake Paul was going to put him down, and he didn't. He came, but Nate Diaz also did a lot of joking around things. Like, Jake landed one in like the whatever they were doing 10 rounds, and it was like the 8th or 9th round. He landed a shot on him, and Diaz goes like this right here, like just joking around, and it's like, how are you're getting just waylaid and you're playing. So, but after the fight, Jake Paul did say, okay, you stepped into my ring and fought me. I will go and fight you MMA. I will go and fight. So we'll see. That one I'll for sure tune into. See Jake Paul just get his head ripped off in the octagon.
Yeah. I don't give no shits about.
Oh, I don't care anything about him, but it would just be, he's a legitimate boxer now. Now, could he step in the ring in that weight class in whatever, top ranked boxing or something? I don't know. But he's legitimately fighting these people who are great fighters and beating them.
Right. So, I think what and again, it's all semantics. You can argue this from any direction, but part of the thing I don't like about dudes like that is he had the money and the resources at whatever, just like to say, hey, I'm going to start doing this train. And he's only gotten these fights because of his clout as a YouTuber. Prior to, like, he didn't start at the bottom and work his way up. He got his clout or his internet.
Well, yeah, but he's having to promote and do these all on his own because none of the boxing world will let him fight.
He's making a ton of money on it, though.
Yeah, he's making a ton of money on it, and he I will say, like, he worked his way up from Vine to being this kind of person to doing this. I don't like him. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not saying he didn't work his way up as far as the internet fame goes.
Yeah, he didn't have to fight for $2,500 a fight at the first.
That's why a lot of boxer stuff don't respect him for the fights or won't do it. He's happy about them because he hasn't worked his way up and earned his spot as a fighter. I get that. If I were a boxer who had not went through that, I probably wouldn't respect him either. But I think at that point though, like, offer to fight him. Like, that's the thing. If you don't respect him, offer to fight him and go and show that experience of working your way up is more important and beat him. Like, that's my thing. It's like, but whatever. But why? I don't know why you would though. If you're,
because you probably make more money fighting him than you would fighting someone else.
Yeah, maybe it depends on the card and it
does depend on the card. But I mean, he's putting it all. I mean, you look at Conor McGregor made more money in that one fight with Mayweather than he made in his whole career in the UFC.
Yeah, but also it was a joke of a fight, So
it was, but he still, I mean, I think he legitimately went out there and tried.
Yeah.
And Mayweather did what Mayweather does, which is tire you out and then go to the cards.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's like anything else, man. I feel like that whether Jake Paul's legitimacy for his skill set aside, like I think that's why I don't care about him. It's like he's just some dude that made enough money that he could start,
sure,
fighting and all that stuff.
For sure. Yeah, that's
anyway. And was able to goad. He was able to goad people into his first fight.
Yeah, I think that's probably true as well. But as far as the Musk Zuckerberg thing, I'm not going to get excited about it until there's a date set. To me, it opens the door of hope of the thing that I've always wanted,
and that's to see high profile people in powerful positions fist fight each other like for blood. Like I hope this becomes a norm. I'd like for this to become
you want a live action celebrity death match is basically
more or less,
except for no one dies.
Yeah. Even though wouldn't that be some shit though if like Zuck and Musk were going at it and not through fighting, just like some freak thing like Elon dies after the fight. Like it would be like Zuckerberg, the Tesla Slayer. You know,
I mean, for sure. I mean, or they fight and whoever wins gets the other person's company, like their big thing. Like, so if Zuckerberg wins, he gets Tesla and SpaceX. And if Musk wins, he gets, Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp.
Fighting and they're both, just because their personality types, whatever, they both get really mad and they will start mad crying during the fight.
You see them in their corner going,
the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Love it so much. Yeah.
So I got a news story as well.
Okay.
To get back on track. I've been saving this because I've had it as a backup news story for something for the weekend. And so anyway, the headline is Man Kept Father's Dead Body in Freezer, quote, so he could talk to him.
Okay. They were close.
The 82-year-old told a local newspaper that he stored the corpse of his parent who died aged 101 because I did not want to let him go or I would miss him. The man has been caught storing his father's dead body in his freezer. Police in the town of Landgraf in the Netherlands.
That sounds like some Netherlands shit.
Yeah. Reportedly discovered the corpse after concerns were raised by a family doctor who was worried about the 101-year-old father's health. Dutch media reported that the man's son, 82, told officers he did not want to let him go or I would miss him. This has got to be a joke now, right? This is the name of the newspaper. De Limburger newspaper said the son claimed he decided to put his parents' corpse in the freezer when he died of natural causes 18 months ago. So he could continue to talk to him. Police are reportedly now investigating whether any fraud has been committed. Council officials who visited the house are said to have described it as a mess and given the son a week to clear it up. Listen, I don't know what you're doing with this dead body in here, but you got a week to get this fixed. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, it's not surprising. People do some weird
stuff
when they're grieving and all this other stuff, but man, I don't know. That's kind of hilarious though. And especially because like, so if the dude's 82 years old or 80 whatever years old, like,
which is strange. That seems like a young man's game, storing a dead body. That doesn't seem like an old person.
You think at that old, like people have died off and moved on and stuff like at this point in your 80s. Like if I'm 82, like I'm praying to God for death every morning. Like it's done for me. And so I couldn't imagine like wanting to hang on to like if my parents were still alive. That'd be crazy.
I forget what comedian I was listening to their podcast or something, and they were talking about their grandmother had lived so long that she had 3 sets of friends die off.
Yeah.
Like she, went into a nurse. So she had her friends. They all died. She goes into a nursing home, makes a new set of friends. They die.
Right.
And then a new set of young nursing home people came in and she makes friends with them. And then they died. And she's just like, I just want to die. Like, I'm just here. I'm having to see all my friends die. Now I'm going through it 3 times. I just want to die.
It's like, I might told this. I met this dude, this old guy at this Chinese restaurant in Fayetteville, Tennessee. And I just did the obligatory walk in. I was like, hey, how are you, sir? Whatever. Just, none. And he said, fine. He goes, well, and looked at me, he goes, let me tell you something. He goes, he said, I'm 78 years old and I pray to God I don't live to see 79. I've been stuck with this bitch over here for the last 20 years. I've done everything I want to do. I'm ready to be done. And then just walked off. I'm like, that's my soulmate in life. But 78 years old and pray to God I don't live to see 79.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind living to be old as long as I can get around on my own and I don't have to be taken care of. Like, that's fine. But if I can't get along well, I'm in constant pain or whatever, like, nah, take me out early. I don't care if it's, 65, 60, 55, whatever. I don't care. Right.
Oh, dude, if you outlive your wife and I'm still around and you can't take care of yourself, you're coming to live with me just so I can make your final days as uncomfortable and miserable as humanly possible.
You're going to see me like trying to bite a knife and go.
Yeah.
I know it's up and down, not across. I can't move my head that way.
But that's the thing is like, but I would do something. I would leave the knife by your bed. I would just make sure it's really dull.
Or just outside of reach.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You're too rough when you give me sponge baths. You know?
It's supposed to be a sponge, not a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
Steel wool.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I could see, I don't know. It'd be like freezing somebody as a prank would be one thing. That would be fantastic.
Freezing them as a prank.
Like after you're dead, like keeping you, I don't know. Just
who's the prank on at that point though?
Because you're dead. I just
I'm dead, but I'm dead, so I don't. It's a prank that I never experienced being pranked.
That's true. Unless it's just leave you out in different places from time to time.
Freezing me when I die and then having someone in my family stumble across the frozen body, that's a prank.
That's a prank. Yeah.
That's a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, he must have had one of the big, like, on the floor deep freezes because there's no way he crammed his unless his dad was really small.
I mean, he was 101. He might have been
tiny.
He might have been able to really kind of be folded up into a ball.
Yeah.
And just fetal position upright. Just imagine opening a freezer and there's an old man with his knees pulled up like this and his arms was just like
in the little thing. Yeah, just in the I pictured taking up the entirety of the freezer too. So
right.
The body's frozen in a square shape or a rectangle shape. And yeah.
His arms are crossed and the ice tray's right there. So you have to he's holding the ice for you. You scoop it out.
But it must have been a damn good freezer if it'd been keeping him for 18 months.
18 months. I mean, what does it take to freeze a body and it not decompose? 0 degrees, 30 degrees. What is it? I don't know what it takes to freeze a body.
I know you can prolong, decomposition if you refrigerate, obviously. So maybe just but it just takes a long time to freeze a body. Like it's a large mass. He's
101. Maybe he was very small again.
Right, but in that time that it's being frozen, there's decomposition happening. That's my and unless he's just like leaving the freezer door closed while he's having the conversation, he's opening and allowing heat to come in at different times. I don't know. There's some logistical questions that I have.
All right, I get that. Maybe he's got a walk-in freezer and he puts on his parka and he walks in there and sits down. And he's got a chessboard set up across from his dad in there. He's like, "Would you go already?"
Oh man.
So would you? So similar to the time travel question, if someone said, "We think we figured it out, we could freeze you, you won't age, and then we could just wake you up later on down the line, and you'll be basically the same age that you're aged because the years have passed, but mentally and physically you're exactly where you were, like you're exactly how you are now."
Will I be single when you wake me up?
Well, I guess it depends on how long you're frozen, because unless they freeze the spouse with you, then
there's conditions in freezing.
Yeah, so let's say that let's just say they're going to freeze you only you.
Okay.
This very much like Idiocracy, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to only freeze you, and they're going to wake you up in 100 years.
Yeah.
Do you do it?
That one's a little tougher because there'd have to be have they frozen? Will I be the first person ever cryogenically frozen?
No. I mean, Walt Disney was frozen.
Well, obviously, but I'm just saying in this example.
I guess so. Sure.
Have they been able to do tests to confirm you're not still like conscious during the 100 years?
Oh my God, that would be awful, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they probably froze a rat and they tested brain activity during that time, and there was none. It was completely dormant, right? It's like you just went to sleep and didn't dream.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe you did dream. Imagine dreaming for 100 years.
See, there'd have to be some, again, there's got to be some like compensation stuff, because I don't want to come out in 100 years and be poor and then be no idea with technological advancements and be unemployable and then just be homeless 100 years in the future with my back now.
Sure.
Kill me. Couldn't handle that. couldn't handle being homeless in 100 years. So, there'd have to be some, some negotiations in that regard. But yeah, why not?
You would, so you do it. I think there's a lot that goes into, not, I have to negotiate inflation into how much I'm getting paid as well. Like, $100 million in 100 years may be $10,000 now. And at that point, it's like, I need the equivalent of X amount of money then. Like, I don't, not now, then. But then I also think about things like, what if the company that does that just 50 years in, just their CEO, they just go bankrupt and now you're just sitting frozen? What are they, at that point, do they just slowly thaw you out and release you, or what happened?
Like I want to be like, I would be like, okay, we can do this, but if I'm going to be frozen, I need at least a 20-year supply of Oxycontin frozen with me. So when I come to, if nothing else, I have bags of opiates.
You don't think that there's going to be something better than Oxys when you wake up?
It's
hard to imagine anything's better than Oxy, but
not with how things are going now and how they're banning things, and because they're moving more and more towards trying to find things that can block nerve pain and do that stuff without the high of the opiates and stuff. So yeah, I don't want to live pain free in 100 years if I can't get absolutely fucking blitzed. Like that's
so maybe someone should be working on, I'm sure someone is, a way to get high without the negative side effects of the drugs.
Yeah.
Would you do that? If you could, without the negative side effects, would you get your, yeah.
Yes. If there's some type of synthetic opium.
Well, I didn't know about with you and your death wish. If you're like, no, I want the negative stuff with it. Like,
oh yeah, I do. But but the hassle that the negative stuff thing it's the inconvenience of the negative stuff. But yeah, if there's some could just manufactured like opiate-esque high there with no addiction, no side effects. Oh man. Sign me up.
Yeah. Did you watch Tom Segura's new comedy special that came out on the 4th?
Yeah.
It's really good, but that's one of my favorite lines, is talking about getting injured and I wouldn't have made it through without my good friend Dilaudid.
Yep. The bit with the kid in the shower was fantastic.
Oh yes, it's
like he's one of the few comedians that could throw that out and get away with it.
Yeah, well, Gabe and I saw him year and a half ago, May 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was working that material then, and so a lot of that stuff I had heard, but it was much more polished on the special.
Right. Yeah.
So but anyway,
yeah.
When
you start in your stand-up career, when you start off, I want to be there. I want to be there for your kickoff.
I thought we were gonna Abbott and Costello it, and then you moved off. So
yeah.
I think, honest to God, I think you and I should go to an open mic somewhere, I don't care where, and legitimately memorize and get on stage and do the Who's on First bit. Just do Who's on First.
No, it's the dumbest bit.
It is the dumbest bit. It is the dumbest bit. That's why we should do it, because it doesn't translate to today
at all,
and it's just the reaction of people.
But you have to fully.
It's funny to us.
Over
you have to
fully invest over the top. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we should. I think we should.
We gotta talk like this in the microphone. Gotta get that old delivery.
Yeah, vaudeville.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to do some blackface stuff too, but we'll work that out
naturally. That just spurned a question in my brain that I wanted to ask, because I was going to ask this on the show today anyway, and because it was an interesting comment. It was a tweet that I saw, and the person stated that when a white person replies to a comment with a GIF or a meme of a black person, it is, or not a black person, I'm sorry, a person
digital blackface,
person of color. That is the akin. It's the digital version of a modern day version of blackface.
It's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous statement.
Yeah,
that is. I cannot think of any argument anyone could make where I would go, I see your point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that I think are ridiculous, but I do see the point that
Right.
people try to make.
Yeah.
This one I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, like, I understand where the thought comes from. I just think it's just not based in any type of, any type of like common sense thinking, in my opinion. But
Sure.
but I get where the thought spurns from, because
Sure.
use it. But anyway,
I just
but like anything else, though, it's context. It's how it's used, right? Like anything else.
sure. But I feel that way about actual blackface as well, though. Like, not that it's
Really?
ridiculous, but that it's a context of how it's
You don't
used.
think you don't think it's ridiculous?
No. I'm not. I'm saying I don't think. No. What I'm saying is, if you tell me that posting a GIF of a black person is digital blackface, that's ridiculous. If you tell me that it's offensive and you shouldn't do physical blackface, I don't think that statement is ridiculous.
Okay.
But I don't think it's as, for lack of a better term, as black and white as that statement. I think for the sake of, well, comedy, for instance. I mean, hold on a minute. There have been Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel on the Man Show back in the day. What was it? On Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon was in brown face, acting as though, and they were doing some kind of tribute, I think, to Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
The quote, heart was in the right place. This was not blackface where it originated. 100% was to hold black people down. That's not what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to be able to differentiate intention.
Okay.
If you cannot, if intention is not taken into consideration, what are we even doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could say, I mean, I've called my youngest son, one of the running jokes between the two of us is something happens and I call him a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were around my dad one time, and I tend to cut my language back around my dad. My dad was helping me do something.
Mm-hmm.
And his back was to me, and he said something, and my son goes, I'm not sure if I can do that like that. And I went like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a running joke. But if I just were a typical dad back in the 80s and 90s, I was like, get outside and do something, you pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different intention there. And that's where I differentiate the two.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
For me personally, I would never do blackface.
Right.
But you have to take intention.
But you can appreciate when somebody does it well. That's what you're saying.
I can consider the intention is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it should be done.
It's those areas.
I'm saying I can consider the intention.
Yeah. See, to me, it's one of those areas. Now, it's always a problem when you look retroactively through a modern lens, but when we're at today in society, there's no issue to me saying it's inappropriate, no matter the intent. Period. End of story. There's no reason to ever throw it out.
Hold on. What? Say that again.
Where we're at now, in the modern time and moving forward, I have no issue saying that it's never appropriate, no matter the intent. Like, there's never a good reason.
Appropriate or inappropriate is not. I don't take that into consideration of appropriate or inappropriate, because what's inappropriate right now. No, I think intention is far more important. I think,
but that's part of it. Appropriate. The
appropriate is subjective. Intention isn't. Am I intending to be offensive or hurt someone?
Right.
Is not subjective.
Right.
How you receive it, that's on you. But my intention is not subjective. Appropriate and inappropriate is completely subjective.
Yeah.
I mean, you think back to Louis C.K. and his stand-up bit where he was saying the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Is it inappropriate for a white person? Granted, he's Mexican and Jewish, and not white. But is it ever appropriate for a white person to say the N-word? No. But what was his intention?
Mm-hmm.
And he had very good, very positive intentions with that bit, and it was a funny bit as well. I mean, I think, he ran it by Chris Rock just to say, like, is this bit worth it?
Yeah.
Is it funny? And should I say this word in this bit or whatever. And my understanding was Chris Rock was like, no, you 100% need to do this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. You can't take appropriate or inappropriate into consideration. It's too subjective.
Okay.
Intention isn't. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I got you. But I think, but even with intent, like appropriate is subjective, but it has something that has to be considered when you present anything in a public forum.
Sure.
For the time that you're in, right? Because it's like I can have the best intent in the world, but if I know something is socially inappropriate based on society around me at the time, even if I have no ill intent, by choosing to go ahead and run with it, right? And then the intent in itself is shifted in that regard, because then I'm saying, well, I don't care what the appropriateness or the opinion is going to be. I'm going to do it because I want to do it. So then the intent goes from being something possibly innocuous to a selfish, I'm going to do this anyway.
Sure. And in that scenario, I get that. And I agree with you. I just think it doesn't have to be that way, or I don't it can be good intent. Well, I mean, think about,
I don't think
in the 80s, you're a fan of, let's say in the 80s, you're a fan of Mr. T, right? And you want to dress up as Mr. T.
Right.
And so you put brown makeup on. That's, nowadays it would be called inappropriate to do that, but the intention there's like, you love Mr. T, like it's really a tribute to Mr. T. You're he's spanning all social classes and races and all that. Like, right. I'm not, would I let my kid do that now? No, I wouldn't let my kid do it now, but the intention is in the right place. And I don't think there would be anything wrong with it, but to spare my kid the possibility of future idiots wanting to have them not be able to make a living because of something they did as a child. Yeah, I wouldn't let them do it.
Yeah.
But do I think it is wrong?
No. But now you're talking about, the difference between a child doing something out of a lack of understanding just because they love something versus an adult making a conscious decision to do it. That's something that hasn't been socially okay in a very long time, but people chose to anyway, as most of the time as a joke. And that's where the question, that's where I would question the intent. Say, well, yeah, it was meant to be funny, but it was still funny at an expense of whatever, a callback to vaudeville, a callback, whatever. It's your intent then isn't as pure as you're letting it on. It's different, again, being a kid and having that ignorance behind it versus
I
being.
Disagree. I mean, you can lampoon something and that's your intention, to call out the ridiculousness of it. I mean, to take for instance, you and I used to play a game called Who's That Racist?
Yeah.
And we read very racist quotes from celebrities and politicians from back in the day, and some not so far back in the day. And it was brought up by someone to us off the show one time. It's like, that's a very racist thing to do. And it's like, but it's not, because really the intention is, this is how ridiculous things were and still are. And these people that we put up on this pedestal, how you don't really know them, and we should be careful with that. Like, it was a very,
we weren't putting makeup on and doing impressions of
I understand. Well, I didn't say anything about doing an impression. I said, brown face make. I mean, like I said, I can remember my mom dressing up as the Supremes. I think it was the Supremes.
Yeah.
For a church talent show
in the South.
Would I caution any white person against doing that now? 100%.
Yeah.
But do I think the intention was good? I think it was a neutral intention, honestly, because I don't think they were trying to pay tribute. I think they were trying to look like them.
Yeah.
I think
because it would be because though, if you know, but
it wasn't meant to be funny, though. I will tell you that it was not meant to be funny. It was meant to look like the Supremes while karaokeing their song.
But then that's coming down to 100% that, but that's meant to be something, not to be a tribute or whatever. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this thing, and the conversation hasn't been, it'd be awesome, or it'd be hilarious, or it'd be whatever if we actually dressed like the Supremes when we did the Supremes. There's something that goes into that, and it's funny to them or to whoever because it's a white person dressed as a black person. So it's exploiting that at its core, regardless. I mean, there's no way to carve intent out of that that's not like, and I'm not saying it was nefarious intent, but it's still not like done in goodwill or good faith. It's
how's that not how's that ill intent?
That's what I said, not nefarious.
How's that nefarious? That's
no, I said not nefarious.
Okay, all right. So
I said I'm not saying it was nefarious, but it's also
you said it's not in goodwill,
not in good faith.
You're not. How's that?
In other words, like you know when you make the decision that it's not the right thing to do, but you're doing it anyway because
no. You know it's going to offend somebody, but you can still think it's not wrong. Right and wrong can be there can be things that aren't right or wrong.
I believe in moral flexibility like a son of a
yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, there can be something that is neutral. It's not right nor wrong. It just is.
But my point is even in that time, like the propensity to find blackface offensive isn't a thing that's happened in the last 10 years. Like for quite some time, it's been a fairly unacceptable thing. And most of the time, the only people that could get away with that were either like you'd see it like college frat parties or Halloween parties, stuff like that, or celebrities doing it. It wasn't like a normal or like for a movie for whatever, because they had enough money to make the joke.
I mean, that's where it started, with celebrities doing it to have black people in the movie without having black people in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
So that's completely nefarious.
Predated movies, but
I mean, that's completely nefarious.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is not.
Right. Well, no, what I'm saying is though, but it's been it's not, even though more people still did it, we'll say in the 80s or 90s, it was still not considered okay even then. It was just a little more of a laugh off thing than it was a social outrage, you'll never work again kind of thing.
I somewhat disagree with you. I think that intent was considered. I do. I think intent was considered.
Well, the intent's going to be considered within the circle that you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Look, just to be clear, and I've already said this, but I'm going to say it one more time. It's like, I don't think you should do it, but I don't necessarily think it's always a bad. I don't think it's always nefarious, and I think intent needs to be considered. I think, I don't know, whatever. Do you think that? Do you think it's bad taste or whatever you want to call it for any race to do anything like that? For I don't want to say against, because it doesn't necessarily. I'm not against, but anything like that.
Well, okay.
Obviously, if Chappelle doing the white reporter, Turk being, what was the white insurance agent, whatever, and powdering their face, whatever, like whatever. If you're doing something toward white people, fine. We've had it good for a while. We're like, go for it, right? I'm just saying, but like, let's just say a black person put on a sombrero on Cinco de Mayo and whatever, and was walking around and talking with a stereotypical Hispanic accent. Is that wrong, or whatever word you want to use for it? Not wrong, but
if you're gonna, so again, socially, I understand why like blackface is way more faux pas or frowned upon than other types of things. I'm of the opinion, if you're gonna slap one standard on, you got to keep that standard across the board.
Sure,
but that's not how it's viewed in general.
Yeah,
it's societally viewed. Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're gonna say, okay, well, we can't make, and again, I understand the history behind one over the other as well, and the sensitivity that comes with that. But no, like I'm of the opinion it's kind of like a if you can't do it, I can't do it. I can't do it. You can't do it. None of us we're all, it goes back to like,
it's that meme of Spider-Man, the three Spider-Man all pointing at each other. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we've talked about before on our show. And I don't know if I think we might have touched on it on this show before, but that like nobody actually wants like equality across the board. They want exceptions made for whatever
everyone
their cause is or their stances on things, because true equality across the board sucks for everybody.
Mhm.
Like, and by true equality,
There's no
I mean,
such
like,
thing. People don't really want it.
right.
When people say they want equality, but what we should have is equity.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, but it goes back in, and that's one of the questions that we were going to talk about, or that was proposed, I think, was can you manufacture, equality?
Yeah,
And I think we try to, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the attempt at trying, right, to
sure,
make things fair, especially when wrongs have been done, or in the past, and there's people are disadvantaged because of past decisions that were made. Like, I understand trying to make up for those things, but but like a truly equal playing field that gets rid of scholarships, that gets rid of grants,
sure,
that gets rid of so many things that are beneficial to so many people. But like true equal playing field is, like you don't have any of that. Like
right.
college, or you can either say, well, college is free, or everybody has to figure out how to pay for it, type of thing. And you know, um, I don't know. It's just an ugly thing. So I understand again the sensitivity for, but to me, yeah, if you're going to say that it's wrong to impersonate or to chalk up as one race or another, then it's wrong to do it for the other person too. It's not just a one lane road,
Sure.
one way street. I don't know. That's my opinion again, but I'm a believer. Like we've talked about this before. Like I'm a big as much of an agent of chaos as I am, and as much as of an asshole that I am. Like I believe in equal opportunity assholery. Like so, it's
Sure.
like if you're gonna say that like this person can't do this, then you know what, this person can't do it
Yeah,
either.
you
So,
like fairness.
I like fairness.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're the most woke person there is.
I just feel like if one person's going to get stomped on, then we all get stomped on. If one person's going to get an exception to this, then we all should get an exception for this. It's like I said, that's the
And see, I'm more the more qualified people
well.
get
No, I
whatever,
agree.
because if we're all going to get stomped, if somebody's getting stomped on, then the fastest people don't get stomped on. It's
Yeah,
because they're more qualified.
yeah.
So
Well, but again, a qualification doesn't necessarily equal fairness of treatment or equality, right? Because like we can have the same baseline of equality as far as rules go, like equal rules for everybody. But then what's going to separate one person from another person is the ability to, like you said, in that case, if we're all going to stomp on the people that can run the fastest, which is from genetics or whatever, has nothing to do with um, fairness, right? Like it's or let me, I'm sorry, because fair and equal aren't the same thing, right? Like fair is we both have the same opportunity to try not to get stomped on. Equality is we're both going to have, like, somebody's going to try to stomp on both of us,
sure.
and then it's fair we both have the chance to get away. But if I'm faster than you, there's nothing unfair about that.
Yeah, that's
Or
what I was saying.
it
Yeah.
might be unfair, but it's not. We
Well,
had
genetics is not fair or unfair. It just is what it is at that point.
exactly. But
Right.
like, so if I'm faster than you and you got stomped on, and because I was faster, well, that's still fair because you had the same chance as I did. Or maybe you could say it's
Sure.
unfair, but fairness can be balanced. It's not a tangible thing, right? Because everybody's going to be different in a certain situation. But the opportunity or the equal treatment is the fact that foot's coming for both of us.
Sure.
you know,
Well, you could also somewhat make an argument if you wanted to on genetics, fair and unfair genetics, because you look at what is the basketball brothers? Oh God, why can't I think of their names now? The ball. I think Ball, is that their last name?
I don't know.
There is like these 2 or 3 brothers, but their dad actively found when he got with their mother, he was actively in search of a woman that was athletic and determined, the same kind of principles
Mhm.
and physicality that he had, as far as like
Right.
athletic and determined or whatever,
Mhm.
um, to marry and have kids with, to train these kids to be professional athletes, like
Right.
from the start. So you could argue that there's
Broke
some,
back the code.
yeah, well, but you could argue that there's some inequality there because a person
See,
went
I
and
don't
did
think
that
so
somewhat. I'm
because
I'm not saying I think it is. I'm saying you could make that argument though.
yeah, but see, I wouldn't think so because he'd had to fight. Well, I mean, the inequality would be if they were both from, like if he was from a wealthy family and he was able to arrange this marriage and provide that for him, and he didn't have to like do any work of like getting into the relationship and doing all this stuff.
Sure.
You know? So I don't know, but yeah, like I said, man, like, but fairness and equality are two very very different things. Fair is getting the same chance to do the same thing. Or I'm sorry, equality is getting the same chance to do the same thing. Fairness is just,
Yeah. People say they want equality of opportunity, but what they really want is equality of outcome.
yeah.
And
That's
you can't have that,
right.
Yeah. But anyway,
Exactly.
so I have another question for you, and I understand we only have 10 minutes left, but this is one I was kind of holding in my back pocket for today's show if we went with the topic. But
Mhm.
so this came up sometime in the last couple of days, and I never considered it before. Is sexting with an AI chatbot cheating?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a really good question. I've never considered that before.
Yeah.
And I think it can be, and it also in situations isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's definitely a couple to couple basis, but
Yeah. Well, I think it's too. Also, that's when you're going back to what you just said a little bit, like intent comes into play. I think a little bit on
it
that.
does. I think for me, it goes along with: are you spending more time with that chatbot than you are with your significant other?
Right.
Then yeah, you're basically having an affair with a digital person, right?
Yeah.
It's not a real person, so. But
Yeah. Well,
it's an
I
interesting
think it would,
thing.
yeah, depend on the investment and like if you started looking at that person and preferring them over, or the
Right.
before, but it's like anything else. I mean, if people tend to think of cheating specifically as something sexually about, but people like cheat on their spouse with their careers, lack of a better word,
sure.
their careers over their whatever. But I don't know. I think it would depend couple to couple, and there's some intent that goes into there, and there's some um I don't know. I don't think so, but I could understand why people would take it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's lots of things that people consider cheating, and other
Right.
people are like, "That you're crazy. That's
Because
not
to
cheating."
me,
Right.
like the concept of that, like sexting with a chat bot is probably about just about on par with like watching porn. I mean, really.
You think so? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could probably argue against that statement,
Well, yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it's probably more akin to being on like live chat rooms, like as far as
I
like
guess, except
like
it's
with
not a real person there.
OnlyFans, right? But I mean, it's more akin to that type of interaction, is what I mean, as opposed
Sure.
to like blindly clicking videos or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and
But
people
in
do.
that case, but that big question is bringing up was what is watching like VR porn more like cheating than watching regular porn?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't because there's nothing physical happening
Well, there's
there.
nothing physical happening with a chat
I
bot.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I think it goes back to what we said for a moment ago, which was, are you preferring that over your partner? Are you giving more time to that and more energy and more emotion to that than your partner? Then sure, it is. But
Right.
if you're just satisfying getting off,
Right.
and also, you have to take your partner into consideration, right? Are they okay with it or not?
Right.
And
Well, yeah, 'cause that
I
goes
think your partner can be not okay with something, and that's a ridiculous thing to feel, and it's still not cheating, but
right. Yeah.
that's something you gotta work out with your
Yeah, it's
partner.
such a nuanced thing. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people that consider going to strip clubs cheating, right?
Mhm.
Or at least being, even if it's not cheating, it's right, it's pushing that limit really hard. And then some people don't care at all, just
Sure. Well, I mean, we've had a friend in the you know, that his ex-wife anyway thought even just if he said someone else was good looking or attractive, even if it was a celebrity on a TV show, movie, or whatever, like that was severely offensive to her, which is an insane thing to me.
I need to know I have no idea who this
You
is.
don't know that?
Yeah.
He's married to someone that has the same name as his ex-wife.
Ah, okay. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, she was severely offended by
Yeah.
things like that. She
Ah,
did not.
yes.
He should only have eyes for her, and it's
Mm,
like there's like I get that. I get the only have. I want you to only have eyes for me, but thinking someone else is pretty, good looking, attractive, whatever, doesn't mean that they have eyes for that person. It just means they can point out someone that's good
yeah.
looking and they can appreciate that person is a good looking person.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. You admire you're admiring the artwork. You're not buying that shit.
no, yeah. Well, what's the cliched sayings like? You can look at the menu all you want as long as you don't place an order.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, women do it all the time.
And then you can place an order as long as you leave before you pay the bill. then that's
Oh, I see what you're saying. I figured as long as you pay the bill, it's okay. I thought
right.
that's what it was.
Well,
Like,
as long as you pay the bill with
as long
a
as you
credit
leave
card,
money on the nightstand and
as long as
leave
it's not a
before
joint
morning.
as long as it's not a joint credit card, you're fine.
Well, I was going to say, leave money on the nightstand and leave before the sun comes up, and you're fine.
Right. Yeah. So what I've taken away from this whole conversation is you shouldn't sex with an AI chatbot while wearing blackface and using privilege as lube.
Think so?
Yeah. That's why I imagine sometimes when people like really vilify certain like, because you know me, I'm very apolitical. Like I despise the political spectrum in general. But whenever I picture like my mental image of when somebody's perpetrating somebody in the far right just being like this evil maniacal whatever, whether it's Trump or what, I think of not even Trump, take it more rednecky in country. I think of like a Colonel Sanders type sitting in like a big leather recliner, like wearing blackface and like jerking off to interracial porn while like going for some reason. That's how I picture
Papa John.
the high end QAnon guys. That's what's in my head.
Yeah.
But
oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as it cheating, like I could see. To me, it's more. It'd be more of a gateway to the actual act than anything else. Like, more so because it's so interactive. Like, even though it's not a real person on the other end, you're still investing like whatever part of you into that. Like, so I could see where the argument could be made, but personally, nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
How about you? What do you think?
That it is or isn't cheating? Is that what you're asking me? Yeah. No, I don't think it is, but I think it does go back to how much time you're giving to that as opposed to your partner.
Yeah. Well, the real question would be like, would your wife consider that cheating?
I don't know, because we talked about this a couple of days ago when it first came up. I was like, "Oh, this is an interesting question," and I said, "She's like, oh, I don't know. That is an interesting one. Like, I don't know. I think it depends on." She said, I think, so I'm not quoting her, but I think I remember that she said she would be more likely to view if you were chatting in a sex chat room as cheating than AI, but also she would even lean more towards porn is more than I don't remember exactly, so I don't want to quote her, but it was an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Well, I would say like sexting online with like another human being is much more in the ballpark
for
of
sure.
Otherwise, because you're interacting with another person. So because like when there's another human being involved, like in real time, then there's the much more real potential of that coming to fruition for something, as opposed to the impossibility of it being, with an AI bot. But I don't know. But I could understand like it again if they're saying it's like, well, you just escape. But I mean, but I can also see the appeal behind it too. You know what I mean? Like I could get where it'd be people like, oh yeah, this is sweet.
Sure, I get that
because it's fully non-judgmental. You
for sure.
Type in what you want. Doesn't matter because you can be as open as you want with somebody in a relationship or whatever. But most of the time, there's still like. There might be things that you would like or not like that maybe you've talked about at some point and the other person's like, no, I'm not into that. And you're like, okay. And you have that mutual respect. The AI bot doesn't have those boundaries, right? You can throw down some weird shit. They don't care because it's an AI bot, right? So you have those, those types of options. So I get the appeal,
So I'm going to leave you with this one thing here, that I did this, AI, speaking of AI thing, where you basically, I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. People saying they use an AI to get their LinkedIn profile picture. Did you ever see that? So they're using this AI thing to get like a LinkedIn, look very professional looking photos. Right. And so I thought, I want to see what all the fuss is about, because in my experience, AI, it's just something's just a little off. When you look at an AI generated human, it's a little off.
I've been using it in my career development class because the last one you have to write cover letters and all this other BS. So I've been using ChatGPT to write all my assignments for me.
So I did this thing, and to do it, and it was a photo of me and my wife in the same photo, and so the AI thing like combined the two, and the way we were standing in the photo, it's just. I'm going to show you this photo that. All right, here we go.
That is magical.
I know, right? It just combined the two of us and made me bald.
I really think you should absolutely use that as your LinkedIn photo. I love the rogue earlobe on the left side of the picture.
I know. It's just, the earlobe's just flipped out there.
Yeah, you should.
It got the facial hair right. It got the glasses and the dead eyes right for me. The eye color's wrong. It took my wife's eye color.
You should 100% use that. And then when people meet you, they're going to be like super pleasantly surprised to be like, oh,
implants? Did you get some plugs?
Yeah, I know use for him.
Yeah. So I thought you might like that.
I need to try that. What app did you use for that?
Remini, I think. REMINI, I think. Right. Yeah. You're going to have to sign up for it and then just cancel before the free trial runs out. But
I have that Wonder AI app. It's
okay. I haven't used that one.
I haven't tried the Remini one.
Anyway, so we're at our 2 hours.
All right.
So that's the end of Something for the Weekend and our takeover. I apologize that this is not the show you wanted when you tuned in today, I guess.
The show you deserved.
Right. So, you got anything you want to say?
No, man, it's been weird doing kind of a B3F type of deal. It's been refreshing, but I feel like it's been severely it's been weirdly edited.
Oh, yeah, it has been. So if you want a less edited language version of this, if you did enjoy this, then go watch the B3F podcast or listen to it. It's anywhere you get podcasts. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. But more than likely, if you were here for Something for the Weekend, you did not enjoy this.
Probably not. But
I would put money on that. Other than Mike Marcello, who I don't know.
I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to check out Mike.
He had a good time.
So, anyway, as of right now, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have the crew again. But condolences again to Andre. Hope everything's good. What?
So everybody knows, with everything going on with Andre, he'll be back. It's not like he's not perfect. But we don't know schedule wise if it's going to be hit or miss until he can get everything sorted. But you can count on us. Count on us to be here most of the time.
All right. Until next time, goodbye.
All right.
Yep. It still says in stream on here. It still tells me I need to